So expectations that I had of the class, different techniques, different even staging of how to do improv in a theater setting.
Yeah, so when we first started, I had no idea what to expect. None whatsoever.
I was intrigued by what this would look like. And I know enough about improv to know what hard work it is and what good work it is. And I felt it was a really good place for me to go.
It's so much fun because there's structure and freedom in it, right?
So balance.
Yeah.
Like there was even that one time where we kind of like passed it right around and I was like,
yeah. There was freedom in it, you know what I mean? You didn't have to be totally, but you were still insane.
What was fun is that you couldn't do that simply because, well, it might be right for me, it wouldn't be right for the group. That wouldn't be the right gesture. So.
Right, that's right, right.
It helped us to tune in. Okay, so first thing we did is just tune into our own bodies and learn to listen.
So as you're looking at your partner, you're going to inhale and then exhale and go 1, 2, 3.
Purple
Bye.
monkey. Purple monkey and what?
Vines.
Vines.
Oh.
Purple monkey.
1, 2, 3. Tarzan.
Tarzan. Swing.
My 14-year-old and I, whenever we tried mind meld, we were able to get it in like 3 words. Yeah. Yeah, we were like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, I know what you're thinking. He's like, yeah, I know what you're thinking.
1, 2, 3. Jungle.
One of the activities that we did was pointing to an object and calling it by a different name. So pointing at a chair and saying elephant, tiger, like pointing at any different thing and calling it something else really gave this broadened sense of what is this thing that we're doing here. So from a therapeutic perspective, looking at your same old situation but calling it something else or having a different label for it really lightened it. It made it not so hard to deal with and not so burdensome. It seemed like weekly, almost as if the universe had provided me this opportunity to use those things that I was practicing in class in a real life situation. And an argument that could have easily escalated, as they may have in the past, was diffused because of some of the tools that I had used from the class.
Really feeling like there was this playfulness about the experience that really immediately was noticed right at the end. So, you know, anytime you play for a while, you sort of feel lighter and happier. So those were immediate effects. In terms of the body, because of some of the movement and the dance, it also felt more limber, more relaxed. So I feel like the effect immediately was both physical and kind of emotional.
You are teaching us how to play again, whereas we never should have stopped.
Another very helpful exercise was the yes and we spoke about how many times we say but. And in improv, this idea of blocking and how this idea of but can be not accepting what somebody offers and changing it, and what that feels like as actors and what that feels like to watch as the audience, how unsatisfying sometimes that is. So it was a small exercise, but a very powerful one in helping us realize that the power of and really, I think being able to eliminate but completely is really possible. To accept what you're given, and then to add what your piece is.
So it was small and powerful.
Yeah.
As opposed to small but powerful.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're still learning.
Still working.
Slowly strolling in the sweet sunshine, and I'm running late and I don't need an excuse, so I'm wearing my brand new shoes. Oh, hey, I put some new shoes on and suddenly everything is right. I said, hey, I put some new shoes on and everybody's smiling. It's so inviting. Oh, short on money but long on time. Slowly strolling in the sweet sunshine, and I'm running late and I don't need an excuse, so I'm wearing my brand new shoes.
I think that the improv was definitely more valuable because it's something that I don't do in any other way in my life. However, doing them both together is more, I think it helps to meld the mind and the body and get them both moving and working together. Whereas if we just did the improv, I wouldn't leave with as many check boxes so high at the end of the session.
The dance sequencing and the movement really felt as if that was an inner experience many times. Even though we were working collaboratively, sort of moving in the same space, they seemed to really work individually. And there was something that came out that felt very strongly individual about that in a very healthy way. And the improv exercises had this feeling of really having to work hard individually, but also having that collective experience. It was nice to pair the two of them because so many times things are one or the other.
It was a little more conducive for stepping out of the box with the activities, the improv activities, because we'd already been kind of moving around, so it encouraged a little bit more movement for me when we were doing the improv.
From the improv, I think really working with getting in touch with feelings in a way that doesn't often happen.
So you're going to translate for John.
And when we get to work with and play with those feelings that are often unacceptable, I think it helps us get in touch with them, maybe release them in a certain way, and also to realize that they're healthy and that they can be managed in a healthy way. You know, there are lots of other feelings and lots of other personas that came up, and those were fun to work with individually and to see other people working with. It's very clear that she didn't. What did we ask her? She wanted.
So emotional quadrants was an activity that we did. Just crossing the line from happy to sad was just like, oh, okay, now we're here, now we're angry. And to practice that carries over into everyday life so that you can say, oh yeah, you know what, we've practiced this, I've been here before, and I also understand that I can get out of it just as easily as we stepped in, we can step right back out.
Alright, so now the first thing you need to do is work on, most definitely. Okay, so our feet can talk to each other. Alright? They can talk to each other. Now what you're going to do first is you have to work your muscles. You got to work your muscles, ready? Now what you're going to do is you're going to point your toes. Okay. Point your toes like this. Ready? And then they talk to each other like that. They know exactly what they're saying. They do.
One of her suggestions in the beginning was to make your partner look good. And I think that's really good advice. And sometimes it's really nice to be reminded of that when we work with this idea of handing something really helpful to someone, that it helps everyone in the end.
Whenever the player was most in the moment, when they were truly in the moment, instead of going, I can't do this, I'm going to look silly, or maybe I'll do it wrong, okay? As long as that was not in the picture, it was good.
Not all the scenes were always funny, but just knowing that these other people are going through something that's kind of challenging and pulling it off was satisfying to me.
Where your book begins, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open.
This was one that I did not expect was going to have such an impact on me feeling differently versus attending a class where you're there to just gain knowledge but not necessarily to have some sort of change go on that feels different.
This is therapeutic for everyone and anyone. People that need life skills need this.